It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you for being here. One of the big questions that's being asked out there is, what's happening with young men and Harris? Why is this happening? Why is it young men, 18 to 29, and that are a huge shift, we'll go in the numbers in just a second, and not women? What's going on? I mean, is it, men experiencing things in the workplace? Well, at that age group, as we know, especially college-educated women make more money than college-educated men until they get married. Non-college educated, I don't know. I don't have that number. But when you look at, is it the job? Is it inflation? Inflation's affected everybody. Why has it had such a disproportionate effect on young men? Well, I happened to see this article in Substack. Erica Sanzi, who is the director of outreach at Parents Defending Education. And I think it's just a fascinating article, which completely and totally makes sense. You probably heard that the Democratic Party is falling out of favor with men. All the evidence shows this to be true, especially with young men 18 to 29 who have been migrating en masse to the Republican Party in recent election cycles. From the 2016 Trump-Clinton race to now, the percentage of those voters that identify or lean Democrat has taken a nosedive from 51% to 39%. The reasons for this shift are many, and I am positive that the experience boys are having in school is a contributing factor. Schools of education train teachers that are steeped in the worldview that sees girls and women as victims and boys and men as their oppressors. They are told that to be born female in 2024 is to be oppressed. Aspiring teachers now spend their college years marinating in anti-male content and rhetoric where slogans like "smash the patriarchy," "toxic masculinity," "the future is female" abound. In my many years working in schools and visiting schools as a parent and an advocate, I have seen these exact slogans in lesson plans and on posters, T-shirts, and coffee mugs inside of the classroom. This same anti-male worldview has also long permeated the Democratic Party and seems to be reaching a tipping point. If you listen to the rhetoric of candidates and their surrogates, it is almost immediately obvious why so many young men feel like the party has nothing to offer them. One Democratic strategist recently referred to the Democratic Party as the Women's Party. The official party platform contains a list of groups it is proud to serve. Women are on the list, men are not. Imagine that girls and even some teachers wear T-shirts to school that say the future is female or girls rule, boys drool. On the one hand, this is hardly a big deal. On the other hand, boys would never be allowed to wear anything that claimed the opposite. The message of derision and contempt is kind of baked in, and that takes a toll after a while. Flyers and posters hang on school bulletin boards and classroom walls about special programs for girls like Girls on the Run, Girls Who Code, Girls in STEM. There are no similar offering for boys. Just as school-age boys begin to wonder, is there anything here that's being offered to me? So do the young men in that 18 to 29-year-old demographic when looking at the political left and the Democratic Party. The boys sit in classes and listen to lectures about their male privilege, wondering how this can be the case when the girls do so much better in school. Of the top 10% of students, 2/3 are girls. On the flip side, boys comprise nearly 2/3 of the bottom 10% of students. Girls are overrepresented in AP honors classes and National Honor Society. 70% of school valedictorians are girls. Boys are roughly 2.5 times more likely to be suspended or expelled from school than girls. of all expulsions from public school, 72% of all expulsions, 70% of suspension were boys. These outcomes don't only get ignored by the left, they are celebrated. The steady drumbeat, of denigrating messages heard from the front of the classroom and from the stage of the Democratic convention has left men feeling alienated and looking for something else. They seem to be finding it in the GOP. Interesting.
Well, it has been how long of, again, targeting males, making men the bad guys. Over and over again, you see it. You see it in commercials. Honey, when are you coming home? All I have is these crackers. I mean, at some point, there's going to be a response to that. And when you see and I think this is why they came up with the whole white dudes for Kamala. Remember the comment? Look at all the different shades of white dudes. What? This is...
so many shades of white.
Right. But it's not just white dudes. It's males in that age group.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Yeah, you're right. It is males overall, yep.
Think about this. The youngest end of that demographic, 18, was only 14 at the 2020 election. They weren't thinking about politics at all. And something has happened over the last 4 years, and that is not surprising at all. In fact, to me, it's part of this awakening. Everybody's focusing on the woke stuff. What about the awakening to the liberal agenda? These items have been out there for a long, long time. There's only so long you're going to get away with it. There's only so far you can go with it. And I tend to believe that these groups, again, you've repeatedly turned men into the oppressors. Pick your group. We said eventually every group is going to become the oppressor as you create more subgroups. By default, that's how it has to happen.
Well, you very quickly lose your status as a woman as soon as you come out against men competing against women.
Right.
You want to lose your status as a woman on the left, simply come out against men competing against women,
right,
and men taking away women's private spaces.
Right.
It's pure insanity.
Well, and also, there has been, look what Hillary said a few years ago. Well, women only vote how their boyfriends or husbands or bosses tell them how to vote.
Yep.
Like you have no autonomy. Well, the men look at that and say, well, wait a minute. That's not the case. There's actually a Harris ad that is running. I don't know if I think it's a Harris PAC that's running this ad. 2 women go up to vote. And one of them, her husband, is clearly a Trump supporter, and then she goes up on her own. Gary walks all by herself over to the voting booth.
Wow.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Wow.
While he's standing there off to the side, and then the 2 women eye each other and they look and they kind of do this thing where like, oh, well, we're going to vote for Kamala. And then you see them filling out the paper ballot, which I thought, well, that's ridiculous because they don't believe in paper ballots. That's not believable for that one reason. But then they smile and then they walk together and then they kind of, wink at each other when they're putting on the I voted sticker. Does anyone actually even put those on? And they, the husband is, standing there, the Trump supporting husband is standing there. And the wife is like, well, he doesn't know I voted for Kamala. What kind of marriage are you in?
A Democrat marriage.
Well, that's exactly the mindset of the liberals who wrote that garbage.
Oh, by the way, we have to. You mentioned it, and it's time that we give our election week voting public service announcement.
Yes,
this may be the most important election ever.
mm-hmm.
So make sure that you go out and don't vote if you're ignorant on the issues.
That's right.
We have always put out this public service announcement. We here at Red Eye Radio advocate not voting if you don't know anything about the issues.
That's right.
So please don't vote. This has been a public service of Red Eye Radio.
Remember that if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
And we'll throw in some Rush lyrics in there.
Exactly. It is fascinating to watch the left implode. I don't know how long it lasts. But as of right now, they're imploding for a couple of reasons. They're not just imploding because she's bad. They're imploding on the issues. They're imploding because they can't fix what they broke. And the pandemic of COVID had an effect. The pandemic of inflation has a long-lasting effect on a generation. Because still affordability right now is the key. What do we hear? Rent is through the roof. The cost of everything through the roof. And the only way to fix that, we're not going to bring prices down. That's not going to happen. Inflation rates might come down, but that still means at that target rate that prices are going to go up. If they hit the target rate of 2%, that means prices will go up on the average of 2%. Well, that second pandemic, because of the over-response to COVID, has crippled a generation and their buying power. And the only way to get that back is to expand wealth for all Americans. And that has to include a massive plan that starts with going back to produce, and Trump talked about this on Rogan the other day, oil, natural gas, mining in general, and going after what we have in the ground, what's available, our own resources, and selling it to the world.
You just mentioned something. Where is Jimmy McMillan? Republicans would have been. Jimmy McMillan was the political activist. He was chairman and leader of the Rent is Too Damn High party.
Didn't he pass away?
No, I'm looking here. I thought he did too, but I'm looking right here. Born, went to Wikipedia. When you said that, I went, "Where is that guy?"
Yeah, I thought he had passed away.
No, born December 1st, 1946. Doesn't show any date of death. I thought so too.
Mm-hmm. I thought we did that story. In fact,
I thought we did too. He announced him run for governor in 2018. Don't see any personal life. Oh, okay. It says in October 22, he was living in a nursing home in Queens.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I'm going to say, because if he's 77 years old, because if he's okay, you would have thought that he would have been perfect as an inflation guy for the Trump campaign.
Exactly. Well,
so, but all right.
It's where everybody is. He was before his time, right? I mean, at least in this generation. But it's where everybody is, and struggling to find the answers. Well, the answers aren't with the Democratic Party, who caused it.
What I always loved was, this is here, of his potential Republican opponents for the presidential nomination. Was it 2005? Is this? I'm not sure what year that.
Wow.
Let me just see what year it was here. What are we looking at? Oh, just his political positions. It goes, of his potential Republican opponents for presidential nomination, he thinks of Newt Gingrich as a good liar in the vein of John Edwards, and that people look at him and laugh. Mitt Romney is a good-looking guy that will keep the ladies from looking at me. He also stated that he loves Sarah Palin and holds a strongly negative view of former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. He views former Governor Andrew Cuomo as a do-nothing and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie as just a big mouth.
Wow. Wow.
Hope he's all right.
I hope he's doing all right.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, too. I thought,
yeah.
I
I thought we'd seen a story where he passed away.
I thought he'd, yeah, same with me.
Yeah, but I hope he's doing okay.
866-98 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
A unique journey for this year's U.S. Capitol Christmas tree, harvested from its island spot within the Tongass National Forest in southeast Alaska, transported by barge and truck to stops in the last frontier. A tree dedication ceremony on Wrangel Island and first whistleblower tour stop in Ketchikan. Also unique, according to Brandon Rail of the U.S. Forest Service, is that
we're not really going to be able to do a tour of Alaska, and that's just due to the logistics and the cost of being able to do everything.
the traditional rally parade around the home state of the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree for this year first becomes a barge trip of the 74-foot Sitka spruce from Ketchikan to Seattle.
Transfer it back onto the truck, and then we can hit the road for our nearly 3,000-mile journey across the lower 48.
With the final destination, the U.S. Capitol grounds in Washington, D.C., expected to be reached November 22nd. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's our crony, and I'm Gary McNamara. No AI was used in this next audio cut.
Okay.
This is just, wow. This is just, I'm glad that somebody put it all together.
Yeah.
And it's titled The Many Accents of Kamala Harris. And it starts out with white, black, Hispanic, Jamaican, black pastor. Here we go. So, I mean, this is just, when you hear it back to back, you're like, oh, God. Is this calculated? Do they actually think about this? We can't tell you what we stand for, but we're going to make sure that we fake an accent. You talk about playing identity politics. Here we go.
All right.
Thank unions every day for the 5-day work week, for the weekend, for paid leave if you've got it. We still got work to do. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that? And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. I love you back. Have empathy, man. Yes. For the suffering of other people. Have sense of purpose. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning. And
It's a good thing she doesn't have to campaign in Scotland. I want to say to all you people, especially you over there, you know who you are. We're going to win it. You're going to be crying. Everybody's going to be crying when we win. Don't even say it.
And then she could say it in the Scottish way, let's get drunk.
Listen to me. Pipe her down. We've got to pipe her down. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy.
Powered by windmills and solar panels. Red Eye Radio.
And he's our Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Our audio cut of the day is the insanity of Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to go with it, but it's where nobody's really sure precisely what she was responding to, but she claimed that Donald Trump will dismantle interracial marriages and redistribute the white spouses. And you're like, come on, guys, cut it out.
It happened.
It happened. We have it on audio. You ready?
All right.
Here we go.
All of you. Talking about you, it's us. He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
I don't even know if that was in response to illegal immigration.
I think
it was interracial marriage.
Yeah.
That Trump will deport a U.S. citizen, maybe, that I don't know what the hell it was about. I'm not going to try to explain. I'm sorry. I apologize to myself. Oh, that was disturbing. Trying to put my mind into the mind of Whoopi.
Well, they had the dating site Just for Farmers. Do they have one just for liberals?
Whatever happened to Farmers Only?
Yeah, I don't know. They were too busy to date. What about Saturday? Nope. Working. What about Sunday? Working.
We're going to go out and party all night. Nah, I got to be up at 3.
No, we're not. What about lunch? Sure. Can you join me in the field where I take my lunch break?
I finally found a farmer who lives next door. Can we date? Nah, your farm is still 60 miles away.
Yeah.
All right, the big stories. There's the headline. Americans face horrific candy inflation.
Whoa.
The prices of handing out candy to trick-or-treaters rose more rapidly under the Biden-Harris administration than they have in decades. The Consumer Price Index for candy and chewing gum is up around 22% since Biden took office.
Wow.
That's more than twice the cumulative inflation during Trump's presidency. Inflation appears to be causing Americans to pull back on their Halloween plans. A survey by the Halloween and Costume Association found that 53% of American consumers say rising costs would impact their plans, and price is the biggest factor in choosing a costume.
Well, you can have an M, but not an M and an M. You're just going to get one M. People are going to break up the packages and just hand out one M&M at a time.
Inflation seems to be casting a chilling spell. I get it. Over holiday fun for some, with 25% of Americans saying they plan on spending less on Halloween compared to last year. And soon we're going to get the Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving. See what shirt I have on today?
Yeah, no. What does it say?
It's my WKRP turkey drop.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
I know, but I was going through stuff yesterday and I saw it.
Is it laundry day? Christmas in July. Oh, you mean laundry day in July? Okay.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, next year I'm hoping, because all the lights are off.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have Halloween lights up, but they'll go off on. They won't be on Thursday night, right? Thursday night, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll be sleeping. I got to work.
Right.
I got this cover that I can put over my doorbell, but when all the lights are off, nobody comes in the porch even. Everybody knows.
Right.
But last time I did it was what, 2020. It fell on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think next year I can make it. It falls on a Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So the next 2 years I love Halloween in my neighborhood. It's just great.
Mm-hmm.
It's just odd. The last Halloween, I mean, that was October of 2020, so we were still in COVID.
Yeah.
So I put a couple of bowls out in front, and then I had to sit there with a glass of wine
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
on my porch while the kids, and it was great. These kids came up, there's like 20 of them, and they had a boom box. Can't believe they had a boom box, but they had a boom box.
Mm.
And they were playing the Ghostbusters theme song, and everyone is dancing in my driveway. There's like 20 kids.
Yeah.
It was the most awesome sight ever. I love Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween now I will admit, when I was a kid, I realized where my type 2 diabetes was initiated, where it began.
Mm.
We used to go out on Beggar's Night, which is the night before, and Halloween. And I'm not kidding. We would get the paper grocery bags would be full of candy. We would go a mile in each direction. We'd hit every single street. It had nothing to do with costumes or being scared. There was only one goal: candy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I cared about was candy.
Sure. Right.
And somebody would sit there and go, okay, we're going to give you something different this year. Here's an apple.
Yeah, no thanks.
And I would say that's probably not the right thing to give out, because those apples sort of become projectiles.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You'll be picking up apples in your yard at the very least.
Yeah.
Save the apples.
You don't want
Just
to.
turn the light off and go to bed.
All right, we played the Whoopi. I'm looking at the still of her face. That's insanity.
Yeah.
It's like when Jerry looked at Newman and said, "Look into his eyes. I see nothing but evil." Look into her eyes. She's nuts. I'm looking at the still picture from the video. I played the audio for you just a couple moments ago about her whole thing of Trump going to break up interracial marriages and then deport the wives. And if the wife is not white, deport the wife and put the white guy with someone else. So Trump's actually, according to Whoopi, going to put whites into slavery through arranged marriages.
Okay.
That being said, Kamala Harris claims without evidence that Trump will take away black men's Second Amendment rights.
Okay. Because we know she's so pro-Second Amendment.
During an appearance on Shannon Sharp, I saw part of that interview. He's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
Yeah, it's bad.
we need a host that will do nothing but kiss rump roast.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kiss it even more? Please. Pucker up more, please.
Mm-hmm.
But she claimed Donald Trump will take away black men's Second Amendment rights.
And she stands apart because she's going to take away everybody's Second Amendment.
Right. That's equity.
Right.
Trump wants to take away just black men's Second Amendment rights. She believes in equity. Everybody's. Either it's everybody or none.
That's right. Wow.
I like the claim, verdict, false. Do we even have to go into the explanation of it?
Exactly.
There's no evidence that he has ever said that.
No.
Ever.
It's, build fear on lies, based on lies, based on lies.
And the thing is, when you look at it, it is the conservative movement in this country and the conservative justices that, whether it was the Heller decision or the other one, I can't remember the other one, those two decisions, that really were focused on blacks that were being denied their right in the city, in inner cities where crime is greater. They were being denied their right to personal self-protection under the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
To be able to protect themselves. And the Supreme Court and the conservatives voted both cases, both Washington and Chicago, both blacks.
Yep.
They forget that.
Yep.
And it was the Republican Party that has always pushed for gun rights for everyone. Figures it would take Kamala Harris to bring up the identity politics of it and tell a lie based on identity politics.
Well, and the left for years, as you point out, has been going after the gun rights of lawful gun owners in urban areas.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, the bad guys will break into, the crime is so bad, the bad guys will break in and steal your guns. So you don't have the right to protect your home, yourself, your family, and you shouldn't have the gun. Yeah, and Donald Trump is going to be, based on nothing. We can look at it based on what the left has promoted and apply it to the other side. Based on nothing, they have to make it up as they go along with Donald Trump. And, you're going to get a few more days of this, and then they'll take a break for about 5 minutes and go right back at it, even if he wins.
Well, it will be interesting that if the Democrats lose, if Trump loses, the movement still continues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to continue because there are plenty of Republicans still out there, and the base will really rally with the radicalism that is expected out of a Harris, Harris campaign. And if they win the Senate, nothing's going to get done anyway. Anything would have to be executive order, and I can guarantee it would all be controversial.
Right.
We played earlier. And I know it's not a domestic issue, but we played earlier from Bernie Sanders saying, no, Harris gets elected, we will ensure that we take all the offensive power, military power away from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And, they talked about the Palestinians, but what he was saying was, we will rehabilitate Hamas.
Right.
This is how radical that they are. But if they lose, I have no idea where they're going to go. Are they going to change? The money, the real, so much of the big money in the Democrats is still from the huge radical left.
Oh, yeah.
People like Soros.
Yep.
They don't want to moderate.
No, they don't. No, they will see it as a new challenge. That she wasn't able to get the message out. And we need someone more radical and louder.
And we're almost coming up on a year, the Newsom-DeSantis debate, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
It was November of last year.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Newsom got smoked.
Yep.
Remember, people were looking at him. He was another Andrew Cuomo for a while there.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
well, if Biden can't run, we've got Newsom ready.
He was going to be the savior. Nope.
And all of a sudden, the polling numbers came in on him. They were as bad as Harris.
Yes. Yeah. Remember, he trailed her, I think.
Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I think he trailed her.
Yeah.
I was trying to bad. Because we were thinking, how could somebody trail Harris? It was him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody.
No, they don't. Right now, they don't.
What they have is numbers. It's the million pennies thing, Mm-hmm. They have a bunch of small impact surrogates and members, and that's all they have. No real standout.
866-98 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I don't know. I might be tempted to watch The View today after yesterday.
Well, let's not get stupid.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, only if Whoopi has Mika from Morning Joe as the guest.
Nah, I'll wait for the Media Research Center guys to watch that.
They can watch it and just provide us with the shorter audio clips so we don't have to go through everything else in it.
Let them be the brave ones. I don't have any aspirations to be a hero. I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen. But it does make you wonder because, look, they've tried everything. It's everything. Throw everything Look what he's going to do. Look what he's based on what? Things and stuff?
Things. That should be it. Kamala gets out there. Barack had hope and change. I have things and stuff.
Yeah. Things and
Vote
stuff.
Vote for me. Things and stuff
Things
24.
and stuff. Here's a blast from the past. Breaking news within the last hour. Former Trump aide Steve Bannon has been released from federal prison.
Oh, yeah, I saw he was getting out.
Yeah, so I don't see him being an active part of the Trump campaign, though, over the next few days. As far as I know. I could be wrong, I guess.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.